Hello, good day, David and Sahar. Welcome to today's English Town online class. My name's Grant. I'm from South Africa, and I'll be your teacher for this lesson. If you both can hear me clearly, please raise your hands. Okay, thank you so much, David. Please go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hello, teacher. Hello, everyone. My name is David. I'm from Mexico. I am accounting. Thanks. Nice to meet you.
Okay, thank you so much, David. Very nice to meet you as well. Please introduce yourself now, Sahar. Okay, thank you very much, Sahar. Very nice to meet you. And welcome to you now, Olga. I'm very glad you could join us. Please, Olga, introduce yourself and tell us where you come from. Okay, sorry, Olga. Unfortunately, I can't hear from you yet. So just to make sure that your audio is working, Olga, would you please raise your hand or just let me know in the chat box if you can hear me clearly? Okay, unfortunately, no response quite yet from you, Olga. Okay, sorry, Olga. So I think you just have a problem with your microphone. So if you can manage to get that working, please let me know. Otherwise, of course, you are very welcome to listen in on the class and participate using the chat box. Okay, so thanks for letting me know there. So today's topic is on adapting to new situations. So I'd like to now start the lesson just by moving forward into our first slide. So in our first slide here, I'd like to just talk about some of the big life changes that happen to people. So can you tell us first, David, just from the top of your head, what are some big life changes that people experience?
I think a big life changes is uh, when you graduate to school and you need to work. It's a very difficult, but it's a good experience. Thanks.
Alright, excellent. Thank you so much, David. Very good point indeed. So please tell us now, Sahar, what big life changes can you think of? Okay, excellent. Thank you so much, Sahar. So that's excellent points indeed. We can see in that last picture, you can see the word curriculum vitae. Of course, that is a CV or a resume, which of course you need when you're getting a new job. So that's excellent. Would you like to share any other thoughts here, David?
Yes, I think when uh, sorry, I think the other big change in your life is when you have a child, when when your son or daughter was born.
Okay, excellent. Thank you for that, David. So you just used the past tense there, when your son or daughter was born. So just remember, of course, we're not actually, or you weren't speaking about a past event, something that happened in the past, but you were just speaking in general about changes. So it wasn't necessary there just to change your verb to the past tense. Of course, just when you say when a new person has a new baby, when their child is born, they have this big change. Okay, so just be careful there with your changing the verb into the past tense. Okay, so excellent. You have a very good idea of some of the big life changes that people can experience. So we're ready now to move forward into our next activity. So now I'd like you to think about all the big life changes that you have gone through. So think about one of these situations that you'd like to talk about a little bit, and then tell us a little bit about this situation. Tell us what happened, how did you feel, and how did you become accustomed to it? In other words, how did you get used to this new situation? So would you like to go first for us, Sahar, and just tell us about one of the big life-changing situations you have gone through? Okay, thank you for that, Sahar. Very good. So, if I heard correctly, did you say that you applied to two different universities, or did you say you got a reply? Okay, did you say you applied, or was it reply that you said? Okay, excellent. So that's what I thought. So you applied to two different universities. Okay, and that certainly, as you said, will be a very big change, going to university. Okay, excellent. So please tell us now, David, about a situation that you had to get used to.
Okay. 2 years ago, I bought my house, and the last year I live alone. This situation is very hard for myself, but after the time I accustomed to live alone. It's great. Thank you.
Okay, excellent. Thank you for that, David. Okay, that certainly is a very big life change as well. Okay, having to pay off your home. Okay, so that's excellent. And then, just as I said, becoming accustomed to something means getting used to it or adapting to it. So if you become accustomed to something, it becomes very much a part of something you are used to. Okay, so that's excellent. You both told me about a situation that you had to get used to, or that you will get used to. In your case, Sahar. So now we'll just look at this next point. So, of course, you've both mentioned just the one situation. So, if you can think of any advice that you could give to your classmates on how you could adjust, how you could adapt to this situation, then I'd really like you to try and give that advice. So I'd like to know, David, is there any advice that maybe you could offer for Sahar? What advice could you say to help her with the change of going to university?
Okay. My advice was, Sahar, don't worry. You you should adapt the uh, oh, sorry. My best advice is don't worry. You tried to don't think about this, and natural way for this situation will be better. You should breathe deeply and try to do uh, try to do the best.
Okay, excellent. Thank you for that, David and Sahar. Very good. So that's good advice, of course, to tell someone to not worry about things, and everything will turn out okay. Okay, a lot of the time people end up worrying a little bit too much, and it causes you stress and can cause health problems. So that's always a very good piece of advice, in my opinion. So I'd just like to now know, Sahar, is there any advice that you could perhaps think of on how you can maybe help David? Or what advice could you offer regarding a house, regarding buying a house? What advice could you share? Okay, sorry about that. You can repeat it now if you'd like for Sahar. David, and just explain your situation again.
Yes. 2 years ago, I bought a new house, and the last year I live alone, and it's very difficult for me to live alone. Okay, that's good. Thanks.
Alright, excellent. Thank you so much, David and Sahar. Once again, very well done. So, of course, that's always good advice too. Trying to make friends and getting to know your neighbors a little bit more so that you feel like you have people you can rely on and friends in your neighborhood. Okay, excellent. So now that you've given some very good advice, both of you, we can move on forward into our vocabulary slide. So now you can see we have a few different words. The first word we have is homesick. Then we have get used to it, nervous, and become accustomed to it. Okay, so quite simply now, what we're going to try and do, before I explain any of the words, if you'd like me to, we're just going to try and put the words into our two groups that we have. So, of course, the first group is your feelings or your emotions, and the second group is your adaptation. Okay, so to adapting to new situations. So just the first word here, what do you think, David? Homesick, is that a feeling or adaptation?
I think it's feelings. Homesick is when you remember something that it has happened, and you remember with sadly. That's all.
Okay, thank you for that, David. You're on the right track there. So of course, homesick is when you miss home. If you move to another country, for example, or maybe even in your case, if you're now living alone, maybe you feel homesick sometimes, and you miss your home. Okay, excellent. So that definitely is a feeling that you get. And how about the next one here? Sahar, get used to it. Okay, excellent. Thank you so much, Sahar. Of course, get used to it belongs to adaptation. Okay, to get used to something means to adapt to this new situation. Okay, excellent. And then how about the next one? David, nervous?
Nervous is a feeling. It's when you feel butterflies in your stomach. Ha.
Okay, excellent. Thank you for that, David. It's exactly the example I would have given to get butterflies in your stomach. That really nervous feeling that you get. Okay, before you're writing a test, an exam. Okay, excellent. So that's definitely a feeling that you get. And then how about the last one here? Become accustomed to it, Sahar. Okay, thank you for that, Sahar. Just remember it's not pronounced adaptation, but remember to say the TA, adaptation. So say that again, please, Sahar. Adaptation. Okay, excellent. So of course, become accustomed to it is an adaptation, as I explained a little earlier. Okay, so clearly there you have your difference there, your feelings, and then your adaptation. Okay, so now what I'd just like to try and do is try to add more words to this list. So if you can think of any other words which would go into feelings that you would have, or adaptation regarding new situations. If you can think of any words, then please raise your hand. Okay, thank you so much. Sahar, please go ahead. Okay, sorry there. I heard the first two, happy and excited. What is the third word that you said, Sahar? Okay, yes, excellent. Thank you for that, Sahar. So those are good words to add. Afraid, frightened, scared, all meaning the same thing, of course. So that's certainly a very natural feeling to have when you're adapting to a new situation, or you're in a new situation. Okay, excellent. I saw that you raised your hand earlier. David, were there any other feelings you wanted to add?
No, teacher, I thought the same things, and I I don't know more words for adaptation.
Okay, good. Thank you for that then, David. So, is there any other words you'd like to add, Sahar? Okay, thank you for that, Sahar. So those are good words or phrases to use. Those phrases are more for your advice that you could offer. Of course, the specific phrases we're looking at here are just the phrases that we use to describe adaptation, to describe how you are adapting to someone, to say get used to it, become accustomed to it. It actually explains the word adaptation. Okay, so thank you all for all of those words that you've added there. I think we are ready now to move forward into our practice slide. But first, we actually have a question here. So the question is, in what situations would you have these feelings? So we've got quite a few different feelings that we looked at. Homesick, nervous, happy, excited, afraid. So please tell us first, David, just tell us a few situations in which you would have these different feelings.
Yes, I had very feelings when I lived alone, for example. Uh, uh, I feel I felt nervous when I get my first job. It was very difficult, but also it was very exciting. Thanks.
Okay, excellent. Thank you for that, David. Very good. So just be careful there. Remember that instead of using field as the past tense for feel, we use felt. Okay, I felt rather than I feeled. Okay, so thank you for that again. Now I'd like to ask you, please, Sahar, tell us a few situations in which you would have these different feelings. Okay, excellent. Thank you for that. Of course, when you achieve something, or you reach a dream or goal, definitely happy is how you'd feel. Okay, excellent. And of course, there's one other word that I'd like to add. We can talk about the feeling of loneliness. Okay, you can see that there's a link in the word loneliness to the word alone. Okay, of course, it comes from lonely. You could actually say the noun is loneliness, but you could say you feel lonely. Okay, that's another feeling. Okay, so excellent. We've got some nice words here. So now I'd like to move forward and we'll look at our practice slide. So now you can see we have some new situations. Moving to an English-speaking country, being relocated to another city away from your family, losing your job, and having a baby. So I'd like you just to tell us, which do you think would be the most challenging situations for you to adapt to, and which would be the easiest? Okay, so rate them from the easiest to the most difficult situations to adapt to. Okay, so please tell us first, David, which would be the easiest and which would be the most difficult situations for you to adapt to?
I think having a baby is the most difficult situation for me, and losing your job is the easiest situation. It's yes, it's the easiest situation. Thanks.
Okay, excellent. Thank you for that, David. So having a baby would be the hardest one, and losing your job you feel would be the easiest. And what about the other two? Moving to an English-speaking country or being relocated to another city away from your family? Which do you feel would be hardest out of those two?
Oh, I think moving to English-speaking country and being recalled to another city away from your family, um, it's it's not difficult. Uh, I think it's you become accustomed very easy.
Okay, interesting. Thank you for that, David. I'm sure it perhaps could be a little bit hard at first, but I'm sure in not too long you would feel settled in the city or country. Okay, excellent. So please would you tell us now, Sahar, which do you feel would be the easiest and most difficult situations for you to adapt to? Okay, excellent. And if you were to move to another to an English-speaking country, Sahar, which country would you prefer to move to? Okay, excellent. So America. Okay, thank you so much, Sahar. So very well done there. So now we can move right into the next question, which of course is how would you cope with it? So now we're just focusing more on how you would cope with each of these situations. So just think about that a little bit. How you feel you would cope with having a baby or losing your job, being relocated to another city, or moving to an English-speaking country where you are in your life now. So how do you think you would cope with it if it happened to you right now? So please walk us through each of the points first, David, and tell us how you would cope with each of these situations.
Okay, if um, if I had to move into an English-speaking country, and I felt nervous, but um, but I don't know. You need to try to speak and speak, and how do you say when you uh, leave your feelings? I don't I don't find the word.
Sorry, I didn't quite understand your question properly. What type of views are you talking about?
Um, when you worry a lot for any situation, you need to leave your feelings. I don't find the word. Do you understand me?
Yeah, I'm so sorry, David. From what you explain now, there isn't a particular word that really comes to mind. I'm not sure about the context in which you are trying to use it.
No, that's okay, teacher. I continue with my tour. When I losing any job, I I looking for a new jobs, and I try to relax and um, uh, to to find the better job. And finally, when if if uh, if I had a baby, yeah, I don't know if the situation is is, is um, uh, I don't know this situation. I don't know to say. Sorry.
Okay, not a problem there, David. Thank you so much for sharing your views there. So please just let me know if you like to in the chat box a little bit about the context of that word you were looking for, and I'll see if I can't think of that word for you. And while you do that, would you please go ahead now and share your thoughts, Sahar? Okay, fantastic. Thank you for that, Sahar. Excellent. So very interesting to hear your thoughts there. So now that we've gone through these situations, you've thought about which would be most challenging for you, and you've talked about how you would cope with each situation, I'd like to move into our final task for the lesson. So now, what you're going to do is just to do the same thing that we did earlier, in fact, is just think about any situation at all. So think about any new situation. It can be an actual situation that is happening in your life, or that might happen, or it can just be any type of situation that you'd like to think of. And then you can tell this situation to your classmate, and then of course your classmate can give you some advice on how to adjust to the situation, and just tell you what you can do that might help you deal with this situation. So who'd like to be student A first? If you'd like to be student A, then please raise your hand. Okay, thank you so much, Sahar. So Sahar, you can first be student A, and I'd like you to tell your situation, a little bit about your situation to David, who then can of course help you with some advice that he can think of. Okay, so you may start, Sahar, when you are ready.
Okay, my first advice will you need to relax, and you should to think this situation it's an opportunity for you to speak English with others person, and if you feel nervous, you should to breathe deeply, and you try to do the best. Also, sorry, Sarah, could you repeat that? I don't hear well. If I understand well, you worry for schedule. Is it correct? Okay. Don't worry. You become accustomed to it very fast. The schedule it's a problem, but it's temporary. You're welcome.
Okay, excellent. Thank you for that, Sahar. And David, very well done. So if you'd like to, we do have a little bit of time. So if you want to, David, you can now try be student A, and you can tell Sahar about some kind of situation, and then she can try and then give you some advice. So if you'd like to do this, then please, David, go right ahead.
Oh, hi, Sahar. You know, my girlfriend is going to have a baby, and I feel excited, but I also feel nervous, and I don't know to do. What should I do? Okay, that's good. You know, it's my first baby, and I hope to I hope to all it will be better.
Okay, very well done there. Thank you so much, David and Sahar. Excellent. So I'm just wondering there, I'm not sure if you did say I feel exciting. If you said that, David. If you did, of course, remember that we use exciting to talk about a thing or to talk about a situation. But of course, the feeling is excited. Okay, and most of the time, of course, your adjectives end in the ed, like excited. Uh, so instead of exciting, excited. Okay. Otherwise, very well done there. I think your understanding, both of you, throughout the lesson has been excellent, and you haven't had any difficulty at all understanding anything or any of the phrases. Okay, so that is the end of today's class. Thank you so much for your participation and your attention in the class today. If you have any questions that you'd like to ask me, please feel free to go ahead and raise your hand. I will still be with you in the class for a few more minutes. Okay, so it was very nice to meet you, and I hope to see you again very soon. Take care, and have a lovely week. And until next time, take care, and good luck with all of your English studies.
No question, teacher. Thanks a lot.